It was a cold, rainy morning in Atlanta. The sky was dark, and the streets were wet. People walked fast, holding umbrellas and looking at their phones. No one wanted to stop in the rain. At the old bus stop near Maple Street, an elderly couple sat on a wooden bench. The man wore a faded brown coat. The woman held a torn grocery bag. Inside the bag were apples, bread, and a small bottle of milk. The bag was wet and ready to break. Suddenly, it happened. The bottom of the bag tore open. Apples rolled out onto the sidewalk and into the street. A few cars passed by, splashing water. The old man tried to stand up and grab the apples, but he moved slowly. People walked past him. No one helped. Some looked. Some even smiled. But they all kept walking. Then came the sound of heavy boots, slow, strong footsteps splashing through the rain. A tall man in a black hoodie walked toward the couple. His clothes were wet, and his boots were old and dirty. His name was Marcus Greene. Most people didn't know him. He worked quiet jobs. He didn't talk much. But he always noticed things others didn't. Marcus bent down and picked up the apples, one by one. He wiped them gently on his sleeve and gave them back to the old woman. She looked up at him, surprised. "Thank you, young man," she said softly. Marcus nodded. He didn't smile, but his eyes were kind. Then, without a word, he took off his only umbrella and held it over the couple. "You'll catch a cold out here," he said in a deep voice. "Let me stay until your bus comes." The old man tried to protest. "But what about you?" "I'm already wet," Marcus said with a small shrug. The couple sat quietly, warm under the umbrella. Marcus stood in the rain, his hoodie dripping with water. A few people watched from across the street. One young man took out his phone and started recording. Another woman in a business suit stood near a black SUV. She lowered her sunglasses and stared. Inside the SUV, a driver waited. The woman in the suit whispered, "That's him. That's the kind of man I've been looking for." But Marcus didn't see her. He didn't see the camera. He didn't care. He was too busy doing what he thought was right. 5 minutes passed. The bus came. Marcus helped the old couple get inside. He didn't ask for anything. He didn't wait for thanks. As the bus drove away, Marcus turned and walked back into the rain. No umbrella. Just him and his heavy boots splashing down the sidewalk. The video of Marcus helping the couple would later go viral. Millions would see it online. But Marcus didn't know. He didn't use Instagram. He didn't check Facebook. He didn't care about likes or views. For him, it was just another day. A day to do the right thing, even when no one was watching. But someone was watching. And that someone was rich. Very rich. Cloud with rain scene transition. Inside the black SUV, the woman in the suit looked at her assistant. "Get me his name," she said. Her assistant nodded, typing fast on a tablet. "Got it. His name's Marcus Greene. Works at a mechanic shop. Lives with his younger brother." The woman looked out the window one more time, watching Marcus disappear into the mist. People like him, they don't wait for help. They just give it. Then she smiled. "I want to see what else he does when he thinks no one's watching." Marcus Greene lived in a small, 2-bedroom apartment in East Atlanta. The walls had cracks. The kitchen light flickered. But the place was clean and warm. He didn't live alone. His 16-year-old brother, Jalen, was in a wheelchair. 2 years ago, a drunk driver hit them while they were walking home from school. Marcus was bruised. Jalen lost the ability to walk. Their parents had already passed away long ago. So, Marcus became both brother and parent. He never complained. Briefcase, a man of 3 jobs. Marcus worked hard. Too hard. From 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., he worked at Jackson's Auto Repair, fixing cars and changing oil. He was the best mechanic there. Quiet, focused, and always on time. From 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., he worked as a janitor at the local high school. He cleaned floors, wiped windows, and emptied trash cans. No one noticed him. On weekends, he volunteered at Hope Kitchen, feeding the homeless. He never missed a shift. He made just enough money to pay rent, buy medicine for Jalen, and keep food on the table. Some nights, he didn't eat. But Jalen always did. Red heart, a brother's bond. Jalen was smart. He loved books, especially stories about people who made it out of tough situations. "Why don't you let me post your photo online?" Jalen asked one night. "People need to know what you do." Marcus shook his head. "Nah. I'm not a hero. I'm just doing what needs to be done." "But you help people all the time." "Doesn't mean it's special," Marcus said with a tired smile. "Just means I was raised right." Jalen watched his brother quietly. He knew Marcus carried too much. But Marcus never said it out loud. Video camera. Meanwhile, the video blew up. Back on the internet, the video of Marcus helping the old couple hit over 12 million views in 3 days. It was everywhere: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. People commented, "Who is this man? Real heroes don't wear capes. I'd hire this man in a heartbeat." Faith in humanity restored. But Marcus still didn't know. He had no idea that his quiet kindness had touched the hearts of millions. Woman office worker, medium skin tone Vanessa Turner, was still watching. The rich woman from the SUV, Vanessa Turner, was a tech billionaire. She had grown up in the same neighborhood Marcus lived in now. But unlike Marcus, she got out early. A scholarship. A lucky break. Now, she owned one of the biggest software companies in the country. Vanessa had started a private mentorship program for young black entrepreneurs. She called it Seeds of Fire. But something was missing. Most of the people she helped had ideas, dreams, ambition. But she needed someone different. A leader. A man who didn't talk big but acted big. She wanted Marcus Greene. Woman detective. The quiet investigation. Vanessa sent her assistant, Elijah, to check out Marcus quietly. Elijah showed up at Jackson's Auto Repair, pretending his car needed work. Marcus didn't smile much, but he was kind and honest. "The engine's fine," Marcus said, wiping his hands. "You don't need anything today." Elijah laughed. "You could have charged me anyway." Marcus shrugged. "I don't take money I didn't earn." That was enough for Elijah to call Vanessa and say, "He's the real deal." Memo: the letter arrives. That night, after Marcus put Jalen to bed, he found an envelope stuck in his door. There was no name. Just a clean, white paper inside. It read, "You don't know me, but I've been watching you, not in a bad way. I saw what you did at the bus stop. I've seen how you treat people. I want to meet you. Not for a job. Not for a favor. Just a conversation. No tricks. No cameras. If you're interested, come to 1427 Willow Street Saturday at 10 a.m. VT." Marcus read the letter twice. Then a third time. "Some kind of scam," he whispered. He threw the letter on the table. But a part of him couldn't stop thinking about it. 10 o'clock Saturday morning. Saturday came. Marcus told himself not to go. But something in his gut told him this was different. He wore clean jeans, his best work boots, and a pressed shirt. He rolled Jalen up to the neighbor's apartment for the day and took the bus to Willow Street. What he saw made him stop. A glass building, quiet and shiny. A guard opened the door and nodded at him. Inside, the walls were white, clean, and peaceful. The air smelled like fresh flowers and coffee. Then, she walked in. Vanessa Turner. Tall. Confident. Dressed in all black. She smiled. "Mr. Greene," she said, shaking his hand. "I've been waiting to meet you." The room was silent. Marcus sat across from Vanessa Turner, still unsure if this was real. He looked around. White marble floors. Tall glass windows. Expensive paintings on the wall. A coffee mug sat in front of him, untouched. He wasn't used to places like this. Vanessa sat with perfect posture. She didn't smile too much. But her eyes were kind and strong. "You probably think this is strange," she said. Marcus nodded. "Yeah. A little. I saw what you did for that couple," she said. "You didn't know anyone was watching. But you helped anyway." "I just did what was right," Marcus replied. "Wasn't a big deal." Vanessa leaned forward. "That's exactly why it matters. Brain a deeper conversation." She asked him about his life. Marcus didn't share much at first. But slowly, he opened up. He told her about his younger brother Jalen. Working 3 jobs. Trying to stay out of trouble. Keeping his head down. Vanessa listened without interrupting. Then she said something that surprised him. "You remind me of my father." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "How so?" "He worked hard, never complained. Gave everything for his family. But the world never saw him. Never gave him a chance to grow." Marcus stayed quiet. Then Vanessa placed a black folder on the table. "I want to give you a chance," she said. File folder inside the folder. Marcus opened it. There were blueprints for a garage. But not just any garage. It had classrooms. Workbenches. Computers. A waiting area. A name at the top read: Greenlight Garage, a place to learn, build, and grow. Underneath, a note: Mentorship program for young men, led by Marcus Greene. He looked up. "What is this?" Vanessa answered, "It's a real plan. Fully funded. I'll pay the costs. You'll run it. Teach kids how to fix cars, build skills, and stay out of trouble. Like you did." Marcus blinked. "You want me to run a place like this?" "Yes," she said. "Why me?" Vanessa smiled. "Because you don't want power. That's why you deserve it." Downcast face with sweat, fear, and doubt. Marcus stood up and walked to the window. Rain was falling again, just like that day at the bus stop. He wanted to believe this was real. But a voice in his head whispered, "You're not smart enough. You're just a mechanic. This is too big for you." He turned back to her. "What if I mess this up?" he asked. "What if I fail?" Vanessa stood too. Her voice was soft but strong. "Then you learn. And you try again. I've failed more times than I can count. But you know what's worse than failing?" Marcus shook his head. "Never trying." Child medium skin tone, Jalen's voice in his mind. As Marcus rode the bus home, the folder on his lap, he thought about Jalen. His little brother once said, "Big bro, maybe you are the miracle you've been waiting for." Those words hit him hard now. He had always waited for life to get better. Always worked harder, hoping for a break. Maybe this was the break. House with garden back at home. Jalen sat at the table, reading a book. When he saw the folder, he wheeled over quickly. "What's that?" he asked. Marcus handed it to him. "An idea. A big one." Jalen flipped through the pages, eyes wide. "Wait, this is about you. They want you to run this." "Looks like it." Jalen grinned. "Bro, you have to do it." Marcus sighed. I don't know, man. I've never led anything. But you lead me, Jalen said. You kept us going when we had nothing. You taught me how to survive. That's leadership. Marcus looked at his brother. Then down at his rough, calloused hands. Hands that had fixed broken engines. Scrubbed dirty floors. Carried heavy bags. Maybe now, they were meant to build something new. Spiral calendar the call. The next morning, Marcus picked up his old phone and dialed the number Vanessa gave him. When she answered, he said only one sentence. Let's do this. She didn't ask him to explain. She simply replied. Welcome to your next chapter, Mr. Greene. Musical note scene close, hope in the air. That evening, Marcus stood on the same street corner where he once helped the old couple. It was still raining. But this time, he had an umbrella. And this time, he was looking forward, not down. He didn't know how the future would look. But for the first time in a long time, he wasn't just surviving. He was building. The old parking lot on Greenwood Avenue was full of trash, weeds, and broken glass. That's where Marcus Greene stood one early morning, holding a key in his hand. Behind him was Jalen, sitting in his wheelchair with a wide grin. This it? Jalen asked. Marcus nodded. This is it. Vanessa had kept her promise. The land, the tools, the permit all ready. A big banner sat rolled up inside the building, waiting for opening day. It said, Greenlight Garage, learn, fix, grow. But Marcus knew one thing. This would not be easy. Hammer building from the ground up. Every day, Marcus showed up early. He cleaned the place himself. Painted walls. Replaced broken lights. He fixed the garage doors and repaired old machines. Jalen helped where he could, passing tools and playing music while they worked. They made a good team. Soon, kids from the neighborhood started watching from the fence. Curious eyes. Quiet voices. One afternoon, Marcus called out, "You wanna help paint?" A few boys and girls came in slowly. At first, they were shy. But after 1 week, they were laughing. After 2 weeks, they were showing up before Marcus did. Unamused face, not everyone was happy. One afternoon, while Marcus fixed a power saw, a man in a suit walked in. You the owner? The man asked. Marcus wiped his hands. I guess you could say that. The man gave him a card. City inspector. We got a complaint. Some folks say you're turning this place into a hangout spot. Could be a problem. Marcus stayed calm. We're building a skills program. Teaching these kids something useful. The inspector didn't smile. Just keep it clean. No trouble. He left without saying goodbye. Jalen rolled up beside Marcus. They don't want us to win, do they? Marcus stared at the door. Nope. But we ain't here to ask permission. Stop sign facing the first setback. One night, Marcus got a call at 2 a.m. Bro, Jalen said, panic in his voice, someone broke into the garage. Marcus jumped out of bed and rushed over. Windows shattered. Paint splashed on the walls. Tools missing. The banner torn and burned. He dropped to his knees. For the first time in years, Marcus felt like giving up. It's always like this, he whispered. Every time we build something, somebody tries to break it. Jalen put a hand on his brother's shoulder. They didn't break you. The garage is just a building. You're the real plan. Flexed biceps, the community shows up. The next day, Marcus returned to the garage, expecting to clean up alone. But when he got there, he froze. People were already there. The same kids he taught to paint. Their parents. Neighbors. Even Elijah, Vanessa's assistant. They swept the glass, repainted the walls, fixed the lights. A small boy named Trey walked up with a paintbrush and said, "You said we fix things here, right?" Marcus felt his eyes burn. He nodded. "Yeah. We fix things." Graduation capped the first real class. 1 week later, Greenlight Garage opened its doors officially. Kids learned how to change tires. Teenagers practiced on engine parts. Jalen helped with computer lessons. Marcus taught not just skills, but confidence. He had no degree, no formal title. But when he stood in front of those kids with oil on his hands and truth in his voice, he was a leader. Astonished face a surprise visit. One Friday afternoon, as Marcus finished class, Vanessa showed up again. She stood near the entrance, watching quietly. "I heard what happened," she said. Marcus smiled. "We bounced back." She looked around. Kids laughing. Teens focused. Hope in the air. "You did more than bounce back," she said. "You built something no one else could." She handed him a small envelope. "Read it later." Marcus nodded. "You always bringing surprises, huh?" Vanessa chuckled. "Only for people who earn them." Envelope. What was in the envelope? That night, Marcus sat at the table with Jalen. He opened the envelope slowly. Inside was a letter. Handwritten. "Marcus, the city has approved funding for 3 more Greenlight locations. We want you to lead them all. You've started a movement. Also, I had the chance to give your story to a national magazine. It will inspire thousands." Marcus read the letter again. Then looked at his brother. Jalen just smiled and said, "Told you, big bro. You were always the miracle." 6 months passed. The Greenlight Garage was no longer just one building. There were now 3 locations in the city, each one filled with students, tools, and hope. Kids who once hung out on street corners now wore overalls and carried toolkits. Marcus Greene had become a quiet leader in the community. He didn't stand on stages. He didn't speak on podcasts. But people followed him. They followed him because he was real. Because he showed up every day. Because he taught through action, not just words. And still, he stayed humble. "I'm not trying to be famous," he often said. "I'm just doing my part." Old man medium skin tone, old woman medium skin tone. The old couple returns. One chilly afternoon, Marcus was fixing a radiator with 2 students when he heard a voice from the door. "Excuse me, young man. We're looking for Marcus Greene." Marcus stood up, wiping his hands. 2 familiar faces walked in, the same elderly couple from the bus stop months ago. Marcus blinked. It's you." The old woman smiled. "Do you remember us?" "How could I forget," he said. "You dropped your apples." "I just helped a little." The old man chuckled. "That little help started all of this." Marcus looked confused. "What do you mean?" "Performing arts," the truth revealed. The old woman pulled out a business card. Her name was Clara Bryant. The man beside her was James Bryant, her husband. They were professional actors. Not rich. Not poor. Just working folks who were sometimes hired for social experiments. Clara said gently. "That day at the bus stop, Vanessa hired us. She wanted to see if real kindness still existed." Marcus stood still, eyes wide. "You mean, the whole thing was planned?" "Only partly," James said. "We were asked to act. But you weren't. Your kindness. That was all real." Clara added, she didn't want someone who acted good for the camera. She wanted someone who was good, when no one was watching. Marcus let out a slow breath. "Wow. Camera with flash, the world begins to watch." The story spread. National magazines, news channels, and blogs covered it. From mechanic to mentor, the man who changed Atlanta one garage at a time. He gave away his umbrella and gained a community. Why billionaire Vanessa Turner calls Marcus Greene her greatest investment. People came from other cities just to visit the garage, to take photos, to shake Marcus's hand. But Marcus never changed. He still came in early. Still cleaned up himself. Still taught with grease on his fingers and a smile on his face. Adult medium skin tone school. The graduation day. One Saturday morning, the garage held its first official graduation. 10 young men and women received certificates. One of them, a shy 18-year-old named Darius, stood on stage. He looked at Marcus, then turned to the crowd and said, "I used to think I'd never matter. But this place changed that. Mr. Greene taught me more than car parts. He taught me how to believe in myself." The crowd clapped. Jalen clapped the loudest. And Marcus? He just stood at the back, eyes full of quiet pride. Camera one last picture. After the event, Vanessa joined Marcus outside. "You've done something special," she said. "More than I even hoped." Marcus looked at the banner above the garage. "I didn't do it alone," he replied. "Jalen, the kids, the community, you. Everyone helped." Vanessa handed him a photo. It was a still shot taken from the original video. It showed Marcus standing in the rain, holding the umbrella over the old couple. But this one was framed, with gold letters at the bottom. It read, "Character is who you are, when no one's watching." Sunrise final scene, full circle. One evening, Marcus and Jalen sat on the bench near the same bus stop. The sky was orange. Rain clouds were rolling in again. Jalen looked over. "Remember this spot?" Marcus chuckled. "How could I forget? This is where it all began." Jalen smiled. "And this time, you've got the umbrella." Marcus held it up. "Yeah. But I still don't mind getting a little wet." They sat in silence for a moment, listening to the distant sound of laughter from the garage down the street. And for the first time in a long time, Marcus felt something deep in his chest. Peace. He didn't need attention. He didn't need fame. He had something better. Purpose. White heavy check marked the end.